What's going on, everybody? I want to let you know I was wrong about how I used YieldMax in retirement. I should have used it for its strength and not its weaknesses, and I want to talk about that today. This is Mike, the Tactical Stock Scalper. All right, baby. I worked YieldMax wrong for retirement. And what I mean by that is, I want to use just an example of like YMAG, what I sold here recently. What I noticed during the bull run last year, it would go up, it would be capped, meaning YMAG, come back down. And the dividends would drop with the price, right? We all know that. And then it would go up again, get capped, and dividends get a little bit higher, but then it would drop again on some little bitty pullback, and the dividends would decrease. So what we're seeing here is instead of the dividends increasing over time with share price, that's very difficult because it kept getting capped. But what was happening was the dividends were decreasing over time as the share price declined because they were capped. So what would happen? This has got me thinking during last summer and early fall, and that's why I quit putting money into them. Like, what would happen if we went through a crash? Not a 10% correction like we're in now, but an actual crash that lasted a year or longer. How low would the dividends go? How much would I have to put in YieldMax to compensate, right? To buy more shares to compensate for the dividends, because you're going to need some kind of budget in retirement, right? You can't just, I mean, for me, I need some kind, I should speak only for me. I need some kind of budget in retirement. And when the funds continually drop with their share price and their dividends, you have to buy more, or I have to buy more, right? Just to get it back to where it was, where it's something that you could budget around. So I've come to the realization that the amount of money it would take, I would need 4 to 6 times the amount I thought I would need to live off YieldMax. And in real world scenarios, this is what's happening. And the correction has taught me so much about them. Right? I kind of think, they're not going to do well in the correction, but just like everything else in a market, it's going to come down. Well, how we get capped up eliminates the increase in dividends, and that's what's going to happen. But if we go down for a year or longer, man, the amount of YieldMax I'd have to buy just to stay even, it is crazy. So I realized I would get more livable, real world, livable income, okay, off of something like SPY and JEPQ. Even though they pay less of a dividend, their share price remains relatively stable and grows over time. It doesn't get capped to the level of a YieldMax. So that means that the chances of the dividend decreasing dramatically over time are far less than YieldMax. So I could actually spend less money, okay, on something that pays less of a dividend on something like SPY or JEPQ than I would have to off a YieldMax, because I found out that I would have to buy so much of it. I hope that makes sense. And that's the realization I came to with YieldMax. However, in saying that, YieldMax has a fantastic strength that I will continue to utilize. And what is that strength? It's their best asset, and that is their ROI, the return on investment. That is their strength. To me, what I have found out, their strength on trying to live off of them is not a retirement fund, because the amount you would have to buy is just crazy. For me, everyone's different and everyone has a different situation. But for me, that's what I've realized. So with that being said, with Nvidia reaching return on investment in a little over a year for me, that's amazing. That means that every dividend in a couple, 3 months, when I reach this point, is profit. I'm going to say something that's going to make everybody mad. It's free money. Well, you got to pay taxes and stuff, but beside that, it's profit month over month over month. So I came to the realization, again, I'm saying that word, so don't take shots every time I say realization, you'll end up dead. But I'm going to treat YieldMax like a leap option going forward. What is a leap option? Leap option is when you think it's SPY is going to be at a certain price or whatever in a year from now, and you buy this option a year and a half, 2 years out. And then at that time, or even before, you could collect the profits by buying the option, or selling the option rather. Well, I'm treating YieldMax the same way. I am going, when a market finds a bottom, whenever that may be, I'm going to lump sum into Phoebe or Nefli. And I'm just going to treat it like a leap option and try to get that return on investment. It won't be as quick as Nvidia, I get it, I understand that. And with market conditions, who knows? But, a couple years maybe, I could reach that return on investment, and everything past that would be free money. Now, the issue with that is, once you get there, the dividends will decrease over time, and so you have to treat it as profit. I have to treat it, not you. I have to treat it as profit month over month. But that allows me a lot of flexibility. I can't wait till my Nvidia's totally paid off here coming up. That allows me so much flexibility. I can do whatever I want. The market keeps dropping, I can just plunge those Nvidia dividends into more SPY and JEBQ or QQI, SVOL, whatever I want, right? I can put them into those funds. And then when the market, not if, when the market recovers, I'll collect all that share price appreciation from those investments, which I won't get from my YieldMax. So I think the move for me is to work YieldMax to its strength, and that is return on investment, and not what I have found from my particular plan and my particular life. Its weakness is trying to live off them. And I really, the bull run kind of blinded me to a point that I thought, the amount of shares I have in AMZ, Nvidia, YMAG, no problem. No problem. I can live off this for forever. Right? Well, that's not reality. Now that we've only been in 10% correction. So I can only imagine what's going to happen to the dividends when we crash. Because we will crash. It doesn't necessarily have to be tomorrow or a month or a year from now, but we will go through a prolonged crash. That cycles. That happens. It's natural market cycle. And I don't want to be in a position where I'm having to live off YieldMax when we go through some kind of crash, because the amount of money it would take just to stay even where I was be astronomical. So that's where I'm at with it. I hope you enjoyed the video. This is Mike, Tactical Stock Scalper, out.